Hello everyone, my name is Syllble. I'm the founder of Syllble. Here I want to leave a review of Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's a film that came out this year, 2022, and it was written and directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinler. And I was blown away by the storyline and the plot line. It really follows an interesting character, an Asian American immigrant who owns a laundromat. And in her sort of day-to-day life, she's approached by her husband from a different timeline, saying of the big bad universe. I think that was such an interesting way to frame the inciting incident, where she's kind of living her day-to-day life, and suddenly there's this conflict that rises. What I love about the film initially is the reluctant hero, the theme that she's being called towards an adventure, that she is one of the remaining timelines that can stop this great evil that's coming. I think the power in framing such things is just, it shows you that it raises the stakes. One of the things that the film does and focuses a lot is on the multiverse and the multiverse theory. I personally, that resonates with me because I always think like that, in the sense that every single action, every minor idea, every way of thinking that I do, every turn left and right things that I do thrusts me in an infinite possible dimension in the multiverse. And a lot of scientists have coined those terms, and it's been a theory that a lot of people as well believe in. And you've seen a lot of the multiverse as well in like Marvel Cinematic Universe, or you've seen it in Rick and Morty. So as a science fiction trope, it's very well and alive, but it's been much more fleshed out. I love the abilities that the main character is able to get from these other timelines, especially as she starts to fight. I think for me, the what made this film initially great was the sort of the dissonance of like her attachment to her physical world as the movie goes on, but also this realization that there's other cells that exist, and in these other cells there's different possible lives that she never thought would be possible, like a life without her husband, where she's like a famous actress that has studied the fighting, like taekwondo fighting style. I think for me, one of the key things that stood out as well was the world building. I think it was really well fleshed out, the way that there is even a multiverse where she tapped into a different alternate evolutionary timeline of humanity, where she has like her fingers are hot dogs. I think what was really surprising, I think the first thing I want to say is like what makes great movie for me personally, great storytelling, is the circularity of it. There's a seemingly process of geometry that you can see around patterns, around inciting incidents, around different ways that the tension is rising. It's almost as if it's every plot and every types of story that's included in the film is for a specific purpose. So it's almost the economy of characters, the economy of these plots. So I think it was so well done. All the different multiverses that they included, whether it was from the husband that came in and like to get her and tell her the ideas, or even different alternate realities of her own cells in these different dimensions. And I think the truly great point of this film was also the daughter. This daughter that is feeling a lot of anxiety for her life, and really trying to confront the different cultures around like her sexuality is gay for this other woman and her girlfriend, and also the grandpa who is so it weaves in so much social issues, whether it's the immigrant life, whether it's sexuality, or whether it's like the paradigm shifts between different generations, whether it's the economicness of living an immigrant life in America. I think this was a really great step forward for Asian Americans. There's Asians everywhere in terms of representation. And you could definitely feel that the screenplay was like, there was like many drafts of the screenplay. I could sense that just the way that it was so intentional and how they framed the circularity of the daughters. I really like the process of towards the ending where she realized that love is the final answer, and that love and being able to anchor that consciousness to all of the timelines is so powerful. Like, again, I personally, I do ascribe to the multiverse theory. I always feel like when I'm doing an action or thinking a certain way, I am thrusted into an entire timeline that has a different past and a different future. I guess that's my sort of cosmology of looking at the world. So there is deep familiarity when I was watching Everything Everywhere All at Once, because it expressed that philosophy in such a powerful way. Because I think there's so much freedom in knowing that we have alternate selves, and that individually our actions can lead us towards an end. Because I feel like oftentimes we don't necessarily feel like we have agency as individuals, and that we're just sort of thrusted against society and we have no willpower, and that nothing matters in a way, which I think a lot of it came to that conclusion. But in nothing mattering, it almost means that we have the opportunity to take control of our own lives in our own direction. So one quote I wrote down was, "There's always something to love, even in a stupid, stupid universe." I really, really like that quote. That was towards the end. And it was this sort of reframing that even the smallest moments that we experience as people, in this specific, it's almost as if the memories that we carry in us are the most precious thing, because all of these access of these different timelines were all memories that were experienced, that she was able to imbue and get that process. I think that overall, the ending, I wasn't too, like, I think the ending was great, but I wasn't too like I didn't think the ending was amazing. I think the ending was decent. It was great, but it wasn't like something that changed my life or changed my perspective. I thought it could be interesting to explore this show as like, or this film as a show. I have a bias for long form series as a world builder, because I think there's so much to plug in. But I do agree there is a power in having a film that's under 2 hours, and in having and showcasing something short and sweet and with 2 hours. But I do feel like the ending could have been better. It didn't necessarily leave a fully satisfying flow for me. I do feel like it did come to a resolution in terms of all her cells and all the different characters that were sort of playing in all these different multiverses. But overall, I think the movie was great. I think if you're a science fiction and fantasy fan, I think you should totally watch it. And leave your comments below. I'll be doing more reviews, and as I watch more things, and also be inviting a few of the Syllableites to discuss some of their favorite films and reviewing what books and processes that they've read in their thinking. But yeah, check out, this was a review for Everything Everywhere All at Once. All right, cheers.